Hello and welcome to another episode of What's Up Missoula, where MCAT interviews representatives from local nonprofit organizations. Today we have with us the Executive Director of the Jeanette Rankin Peace Center, Betsy Mulligan-Daig. Welcome to the show, Betsy.
Thanks. Hi, it's good to be here.
Thank you for coming. We have a lot to cover.
We do.
So I think we should get right into it.
Okay.
So we're going to talk about this project that you're working on. Tell me about it.
Well, this is one of our most exciting things that we're doing right now. We've purchased 4.5 acres on Waterworks Hill to make a peace park for the city of Missoula, and I can show you the picture of this. This is from the farmer's market, and the view that you look up there, and the land itself is a triangle about like that shape.
And that's on Waterworks Hill?
It's on Waterworks Hill, lower Waterworks Hill. And you get there by the trailhead for Waterworks Hill off of Greeno Drive, which is the place where people used to walk always to the old peace sign. So instead of going on that long high ridge road, you take one of the left forks on the trail, and it goes directly to this triangular piece of property that we are developing as a peace park.
Now, are you going to put a peace sign up there? What are you doing?
Well, we've had a lot of community input. We've put this out in press releases and many different communications. We had an open house with the community and got a lot of input. And there are folks who really want a peace sign. They really want something that looks like the old peace sign in Missoula. Mm-hmm. And there are some folks in town who really do not want that at all. So our steering committee has been working very hard to try to find the middle of that, to try to honor both of those viewpoints and come up with something that is visible from Missoula, that will represent peace when people look up and see it, that they'll be reminded of peace and peacemaking, but also will respect the open space feel of this land on Waterworks Hill and some of the more emotional pieces of the symbology that we use. So where we have many discussions about what something is going to look like and how we develop the park, and we're moving ahead with trying to implement those.
Are you going to plant trees up there or anything like that, or is it wide open?
It's pretty much open. We have done some surveying. This summer we got a lot of weeding done and looking over what we have. There's some great native plants up there, some balsa root, some bitter root, lots of things that are unique to the Waterworks Hill area. Mm-hmm. And certainly we want to preserve that. We have 2 really fantastic ponderosa pine trees, and we want to save those. As far as other plantings, we do want to do some of that. It will for sure be things that are native to that area. Mm-hmm. We have plans in the fall of '07 to cut some trail in with the Conservation Corps. Mm-hmm. So hopefully what will happen is some of the native plants that are already there, once the ground is cut level in spots, will flourish a little more. Mm-hmm. And because the water pools where it's flat, and then they can come up naturally. But we probably eventually will also put some other plants in as well.
Is there going to be seating up there? Is it a place for meetings? Or?
Well, one of the things that we've decided to focus on right now, much of the land is on an incline. Mm-hmm. The trails, of course, will help with that. There's a space at the bottom that's very flat. Mm-hmm. The trail kind of opens up onto it, and it's almost perfectly made for a gathering spot, an amphitheater of sorts, because it's kind of hollowed out in a semicircle. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the first places that we want to focus in building an area, developing an area that we can use for a gathering spot.
Now, how much have you already purchased the land?
We purchased the land entirely with donations from the community, and we are still accepting donations because much of the things that we want to do development-wise also require funds. Mm-hmm. So we are letting people participate at the rate of $1 a square foot. Mm-hmm. So you can be part of this community peace park with just as little as $1, or as many dollars as you like, too.
Yeah, great.
We already have plans to put up one bench, and hopefully we'll locate and be able to purchase other benches as we raise funds. And
So can people donate outdoor benches? Are you looking for
certainly.
something like
Yep.
that?
We
Oh.
are looking for time, talent, and funds, and if you have ideas, we'd still be willing to talk and listen to those.
So are artists sending in renderings of ideas, or?
We had some of that early on. We haven't had as many lately. And generally, we're trying to make all of the ideas that we've received so far fit into something that works and that we can figure out how we'll fund. And we're looking at some grants, too, to see if that might help us implement some of these things that we've gotten.
And the history of that is that do you know how many years there used to be a peace sign up there for people who have just recently moved to Missoula.
Yep.
And that peace sign was huge, and it was up there sort of with no permission, right?
Right.
It was a kind of, and somebody would take it down, I guess, whoever.
Well, it appeared on an old microwave tower communication board in 1983, and it was taken down in 2001 because it was a hazard. It was 30 feet tall by 30 feet wide, and people were going up there in the middle of the night to paint a peace sign, and then the workers would, from the communication company, would paint over it, and someone would go back and repaint it again. So there were lots of concerns about the liability issue of it, and as well, there were some folks who didn't like the peace sign. They saw it as a piece of vandalism
Graffiti or
and
something,
graffiti. So it came down, but it still kind of lives on in Missoula iconery, and a lot of people really like that sign, miss it. And have been working to find some way of putting something up that will be that same feeling of looking out your window and looking up at the hill and seeing something that reminds you of peace. So hopefully we are going to create that
Excellent.
for the community.
Okay, so any artists out there, if you have some ideas that you might want to present that will represent what the Jeanette Rankin Peace Center is all about, and that would be great.
Just give us a call and we'll be happy to talk to you.
You bet. And we'll be flashing up the Jeanette Rankin Peace Center's email address and website and phone number. They're located downtown on Higgins Avenue. What's that address?
519 South Higgins, just south of the bridge.
Okay. So you can stop in, and there is a store in there.
Oh, yes. We have a very thriving little fair trade store that teaches people about the justice of fair trade as opposed to free trade, and also has lots of resources for peace messaging, signs and buttons and bumper stickers and T-shirts. So.
Yeah, I've gone Christmas shopping in there, and you will find very unique gifts from all over the world, and they're very reasonably priced and just beautiful colors that you really just don't see normally in hats and scarves and musical things. It's pretty amazing. So, okay, so let's look at some of the footage that we have from your recent fundraiser. It's just a lot of fun, and we're just kind of talk over that and describe what we're looking at.
We had a great party this year.
Yeah, every year you have it.
Every year it's our annual International Peace Party. It varies between August and October, but it's...
here it is at the...
Karis Park.
Karis Park in the tent.
And it's our major fundraiser of the year. We do some things, other smaller things throughout the year occasionally, but this is where we get a lot of the money that we operate on. We, this year, had over 200 donors and volunteers that made this party happen. And it's amazing to me how it just comes together, how all of the donations we get, all of the volunteers that offer to help, suddenly put this party on that is just very, very fabulous. It's fun. We have a raffle and a live auction and a silent auction, a meal that's put together with donations, and it's a way that the peace community comes together and supports each other and just has a great time doing it. Okay, and so here we're looking at some of the auction items, but we'll keep going back to this and looking at different segments of the. Really, it was just such a fun party. People were talking and having a great time, and
So what kind of, this is your biggest fundraiser, and it's always in August?
Nope, this was our first time that we did it in August, actually, and I think that worked. We had a record crowd and made a record amount of money, so August may be a good deal.
That tent was full.
Yeah.
I mean, there were a lot of people in there. So also you have some other things coming up, your film series.
We do a film series every academic year in conjunction with the Students for Peace and Justice at the university. It's at the University Theater every Thursday during the school year, and they're great documentary films. They also then, after the film series, become available in our library for loan. We have a loan library with books and DVDs and audio tapes and lots of things that are a great resource in Missoula.
Now I hope we're playing some sound with this so people can hear all the activities that were going on. We had the two choruses singing.
Oh, we had the Montana Women's Chorus and the Missoula Gay Men's Chorus, and they did an outstanding job. They were a hit this year, just one of the highlights. Phenomenal, inspiring music that they performed for us.
Okay.
And then the full-grown men played as well, and that was a whole different energy level. Everybody got out and boogied a little
They
bit.
were dancing later. Yeah, we're going to see that in a few minutes. Okay, so the film series, give an example of where is it again? Where is it shown?
It's at the UC Theater on the third floor of the University Theater in the little theater that's up there, and they are all free to the public. They're at 5:30 and 7:30 every Thursday from September through May.
And where can people see the advertising for the film?
They can go to our website. There's a schedule right on the front page, jrpc.org, and you can download that. We also have them available at the store if you stop in. And we also put out a newsletter every Thursday electronically, and it has all of the events and activities that are going on around Missoula and western Montana.
Yeah, I know that newsletter is, I know that you always write something in there about what's going on and talking about the news of what's going on peace-wise and war-wise. And very important information.
And those films are always in there too on Thursday. So.
Okay, and so people should just call up or email and let you give them your their email address so that you can put them on your list.
You bet. We'd be happy to do that.
But I think also doesn't the Missoulian or the Independent or the Kaiman, don't they advertise the films also?
Yep. We send out press releases for them, so they should be in those publications as well.
And I've been to some of those. The rooms just completely fill up because you'll be seeing a lot of investigative work that goes on that you won't see on television.
One of the things that we started here recently is a discussion along with the film, so that people have an opportunity with the other people that attend to actually have a conversation about what topics the film has brought up, and that's a great thing. It's one of our values that we look at the Peace Center is the importance of dialoguing with folks and conversation as just critical to peacemaking. And so this is an opportunity to talk with people about how they see something or what they feel or understand about a certain topic, and trying to better understand each other.
Okay. And so you also sponsor Democracy Now!
On MCAT, 6 and 10 every day,
6
Monday
and
through
10
Friday.
a.m., right? Which is just got lots of very important news that you won't hear on just the regular news shows that we have in Missoula.
It's probably one of the most important things that we do is sponsor that, and I think from what I hear, a lot of people rely on Democracy Now! For a lot of the information that they get. We're working still really hard and have been for quite a while to try to bring Amy Goodman here to Missoula.
Amy Goodman is the host of Democracy Now!, who's an award-winning journalist who a lot of people call her the best journalist in the country. Because you just don't hear things that you'll hear on that show. You don't hear it anywhere else. And it seems like whatever's in the news the day before, you'll be like, what did that mean? And then you go to her show the next morning and you'll hear her interview the people who are behind or can at least explain what is really going on. So it's a very important show. So, okay, and so what else do we have going?
Well, we'll constantly have events like rallies and things that we try to organize locally, either on a day like the International Day of Peace or something that's
And when is
nationally
that?
significant. That's in September every year.
Okay.
This year, peace groups from all over the country are mobilizing on October 27th,
Okay.
trying to send a message with a mass mobilization of people that we want out of Iraq now. This is the time of year when a lot of people in Congress are looking at the question of withdrawal of troops or not, and so peace groups all over the country are trying to get out in the streets and put pressure on that the people want us to withdraw from Iraq. And we'll be having a local rally in Missoula, as well as send-off for anybody from here who wants to go to Seattle to even bigger mass mobilization in the Seattle area.
So are you going to organize carpools and things
We are
like that?
working on that. Yes, we are.
Okay, and that's that same date,
Right.
October 27th in Seattle.
Right.
And so maybe people could stay together in hotels or something. And
The Seattle folks are actually working on some logistics to host us with hostels and food options and different things so that they can make it easier for people that are coming in for it.
okay.
That should be.
And so people can come into the Jeanette Rankin Peace Center and access your library. And if they want to sort of establish a better dialogue in their minds about how to argue for peace, or whether they're on the, they're not sure which way they want to go.
We've just got lots of resources. That's what we see our mission is, to provide resources to the community, to educate them about peace and social justice and the environment, and also give them some tools to get engaged and active in something. So we encourage you to stop by and ask us, talk with us, let us know what's important to you. We also are working with groups from around the state. In Missoula, we have a referendum on the ballot this November, which we're working with Forward Montana, a local group here in Missoula, to get the word out to voters in Missoula. You will have the opportunity this November to vote yes or no to out of Iraq now. The referendum says that we request the city of Missoula requests that the Congress do something to affect the immediate withdrawal of troops from Iraq in a way that is safe for the men and women who are serving there. So that will be on the ballot this November, and we certainly want to help people process that and get out and vote and let us send the message clearly from the city of Missoula that we want out of Iraq. There's about 300 other cities around the country that have done this, including Helena, Butte, and now Bozeman in Montana. So.
They've already done it?
Well, Helena's referendum will be on the ballot in November as well.
Okay.
And Butte passed a resolution, so it didn't actually go to the voters. It just was a city council resolution. And I believe that's what Bozeman is looking at as well, to do just a resolution.
Okay.
So it's, I think it's very much nicer that in Missoula we have a referendum where the people of Missoula can actually weigh in on the question. Because it is a very, very serious issue in our society, and one where there's a lot of opinions and a lot of feelings, and it's, I think, very important that we have a chance to voice those.
Now, has the referendum been written up yet, or are you still working on it?
It has.
So can that be accessed on your website?
I don't actually have that on there. I think the county election board would have the wording for it, and certainly the city council website probably has the wording there, because they voted at the council in Missoula to place it on the ballot. So.
Okay, so people should look for that on the November ballot.
Yep.
Okay. All right, and so we have other things going on. We have the Peace Truck. What's that?
Well, we're actually, we do try to do a lot of work with schools, both elementary schools as well as high schools and college, to provide information and outreach to the young people in those places. We're working to put a peace trunk together now, which is for primarily the elementary school kids. And its intent is to just have a lot of resources for kids and teachers. It's actually a large antique Jeanette Rankin era trunk that
In
we'll
that
bring
era?
into the classroom.
That was like the 40s?
Yeah,
Okay.
40s and before.
Yeah, all right.
And it has tapes, and it has books, and it has experience things like how to make peace cranes and flags and puzzles and games to learn cooperative teamwork and all different experience pieces of peace and social justice. And so it also has some lesson plan things for teachers that they can just pull out and have ready to use for classroom work. So we're pretty excited about that as being a resource in Missoula.
Has that already been used, or is that something
Well,
brand new?
we're putting it together now. We're trying to get it ready for this school year. So.
And so does it come equipped with, do volunteers go with the truck and help the teachers access the?
No, we have the intention that it's going to just be all self-explanatory.
Okay.
So there'll be a little binder that tells people how to access the information and use it, and some recommendations about what to use first and how to sequence things. So.
And so you would call on teachers to come and, to request
Right.
it? Okay. So.
Well, we also have most of the information already in our library. Lots of teacher resources, lots of ways to teach conflict resolution and diversity appreciation and other things. So our library is full of resources. We work in the high schools and the college classes to provide support on some other areas. We're engaging young people in peacemaking and social justice efforts, but also supporting them with alternatives to military service and supporting any of them that are in the process of trying to make a decision to be a conscientious objector or not. That's a pretty soul-searching process to go through, and we have some information and education about how to do that, and some support to offer those kids that are struggling with that.
They might want to be conscientious. I can't say it.
Conscientious objectors.
Yes,
yeah.
okay. And so you kind of help them with that process,
Right.
which you have to start soon if you're going to do it. You can't just kind of wait till you're already signed up.
Right.
Because then makes things much harder. I know that from Democracy Now!
Right.
That people have gotten themselves in a lot of trouble.
You've learned
through the
well,
military,
yeah.
So that's a very good service. So then you also have potlucks.
We try to do a potluck every month to just bring the community together around some subject of interest to them. Someone will come forward and present a talk on a trip that they've made or a country that they've visited or a new program that's around in the community, and then we will enjoy some time together and some conversation about that. Books that folks have written. We've had some book readings, potlucks. The one that's coming up in October is going to be, October of '07, is going to be on the history of the peace movement in Missoula and the connection of peace work with the nuclear proliferation question. So I've got a couple of folks that have been active in peace in Missoula for 20, 30 years that are going to come and talk about that and hopefully lead a pretty lively discussion about what is going on in the world in the area of nuclear disarmament.
Okay, so people bring food to that to add to the potluck?
You don't have to, because there's always plenty of food, and we'd rather have you there than staying
Worrying
at home
about
because
that.
you feel like you can't bring any food. So yeah.
What time does that happen usually?
They're around 6 o'clock.
Okay.
We'll eat for about an hour and then have a potluck discussion after that.
Okay, and so all this again is on the website?
It's on the website, it's on our e-newsletter, and we'll be happy to answer questions if you stop in at the store and ask.
All right. And so you also have your yearly fundraiser.
Our Peacemaker of the
That's
Year
it,
thing.
right.
We, in the fall, accept nominations for that. for someone in the Missoula area that exemplifies the qualities of peacemaking, consistently inspiring others to, by their example, to work for peace and justice. And then we make that award every spring. And the award is a joint effort of the Peace Center and the Missoula Peace Quilters, and they do a fabulous thing of making a quilt for the peacemaker every year.
And that represents personal things about that
They interview that
peacemaker.
person and find out specifically what they're all about, and then they make a quilt that's designed especially for them and reflects all of those aspects of their life. So it's quite a year-long process, and it's very inspirational. I've been part of it several times, and it's just amazing how much you learn from the people in Missoula that are our peacemakers.
And all the work they do. It's quite a sacrifice, really, but I'm sure they enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, and so we have some other things going on. The Dialogue Cafe.
Well, we are trying something this fall to encourage more dialogue and conversation in the community. We have a student that's working with us that is putting together some conversation cafes where you would come together around a certain topic, talk with people, hopefully sort of peel the onion back and look at the different layers of how you see that topic and how other people see it and how it fits together. Because
where are
again,
those?
dialogue is very important to what we see as peacemaking.
All right.
We haven't gotten as far as where or when they're going to be yet, but they will be on our website when we get there.
Okay.
And the other thing just is that we exist because of support and of money and time from the folks in Missoula, and we really, really appreciate that. The Peace Party is a part of that, and every day that we are here is part of that. The folks that purchase things in our store and join the organization as members, make other donations,
How much
and
is the
volunteer
membership?
their time.
How much is the membership?
An individual membership is $35 a year, and we also offer a family membership of $50.
Okay.
And the membership entitles you to use the library free of charge, get a discount in the store.
Oh,
you can use the
that's good.
community room in the back for meetings or other kinds of gatherings that you'd like to have free.
Okay.
And we have some events that members will pay less at. So
Okay. And what is this right here? What does that mean?
that's the Peacemaker of the Year.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah,
Well, we have just a couple of minutes left. That's it. And then the show's going to be over. And I've just so enjoyed talking to you. And I have to say again that thank you so much for allowing us to see Democracy Now! Every morning, Monday through Friday, 6 and 10 a.m. on MCAT. That's the Jeanette Rankin Peace Center is sponsoring that. It's an hour-long news show. It's so important to see that. You really understand what is happening in the world. It's, it's very non-biased. I mean, she is trying to represent a view that we don't see normally, but it's just a great, important show, and thank you for that. Anything else that we should talk about for just another minute that we have? I know that we should say that Jeanette Rankin was from the state of Montana. Tell us just a little tiny bit about her.
She was the first congressperson elected to the Congress, the National Congress. She was from Missoula. She actually was the first woman elected to any major parliament of any major country. She served 2 terms, removed, one in 1916 and one in 1940. Both times she voted against entry into the World Wars, and hence wasn't reelected after that. But her lifelong work was about peace, women's rights, children's rights, peace and social justice issues. At the age of 83, she was still working. She led a brigade of 5,000 women against the Vietnam War, and just worked really hard and courageously following what she believed is her value, and that is that war is obsolete, that it doesn't solve problems.
Well, and people can get more information about Jeanette Rankin. That's another thing that goes on in your library. That there's
lots of stuff.
Films and books and articles, and so stop on by. So thank you so much, Betsy,
Thank you.
for coming on the
You
show.
bet.
I always enjoy you.